Hello everybody, welcome back to part 7 of Liberation of Hyrule Insanity's Extreme. And today you'll see me finishing up Fortress 3. I now have 7 hearts, and so I'm good to go. So let's do this. So, as you remember, I had to do this section where I had my sword disabled. Oh, before I do that section, I need to get the power glove because while I do feel it is possible to do it without the power glove, it is much harder than necessary. So I highly recommend getting the power glove here so that you can do the sword only section without having to worry so much about your finances. So, I'm gonna be honest, this next part, you have to go through a series of maze paths, and I don't know if James put hints somewhere, he probably did, but I honestly just looked over the map editor and just found the solution, so I cheated. But in all honesty, even if I had absolutely no hints, you know 100% for sure that the final, the fourth move has to be up, and down is the exit. So you can severely limit your options there to really make guessing easy. So, you see me use Fiora's Wind. That's every time I save the game, that's me using Fiora's Wind. So, just take note of that. But anyways, back to the sword only section. Now, with the sword only, I get to do the level backwards. So, I thought that was a neat little map design right there. And there's one thing, if you've been paying attention, when I went through the item only route, the doors closed behind me, and same thing with the sword only route, the doors will close behind me, but James didn't use any side warps. These are all the same rooms, and you can't have the doors act like that without scripting. So I thought that was a neat little script, that whatever door you actually walk through will be a permanent shutter, but if you did not walk through that door, it is still open. Now this room, there's one or two ways to do it. You can actually, where I'm standing, you can kind of hang around the door and peek a little bit outside the door, and it'll make you pretty much invulnerable to the bats. You just have to avoid the other guys and kind of hide in your door. But if you get impatient and don't want to wait, you can just go crazy and go out there and fight like I did. But it's pretty hard, and it's easy to die in that room. That's one of the harder rooms, in my opinion. So moving on to the next room, I would say don't bother with this room. This room, I just go, oh, I'm gonna try something. Oh my gosh, I'm almost dead. I might as well collect some money. And I go like, boy, this room costed me more money than it's really worth. So I have to cleverly make my way through the forest fire. I decided to go in the gamble room, go gamble a little bit, and I go, okay, fine. That was good. Normally my luck is pretty bad in those gamble rooms, so if possible, I try to boycott those rooms altogether. Because whenever I get greedy, I end up losing money. I go, oh shoot, I have to reset the run. Every, like, once out of 20 times or something, I might get... And when I mean 20 times, I mean 20 attempts at the run. I don't keep track. I might get 250s in a row. But that's pretty rare for me. I don't know about you. If you get lots of 50s in a row, let's go to Vegas, baby. I'll pay for your hotel if you split your winnings with me. But this room's not so hard. This is probably one of the easier rooms with the sword. In fact, I think this room is easier with the sword than with the items, in my opinion. You see me moving in and out of the door so that so I don't have to wait for those guys to burrow out of the ground. I can just fight the ropes, because the first enemy is a rope. This room is really hard with the sword only. I can't manipulate these guys with the meat. And so I just kind of killed a little bit on my way, and there's that. This room can be very, very deadly. But this is the trick I'm using. I'm standing right there. That is a safe spot. The Goyas will walk towards you like the bait, because, you know, they're man-eating and people are made of protein. Yeah, haha, funny joke. You just have to worry about those skeletons coming out of the ground to get you. Other than that, you just have to be patient in this room. Don't be impatient, because if you get impatient, you get hit like that. And you can spend unnecessary money to heal you. So I advise you to be very patient and wait for the Goyas to walk toward you. You can make pretty good money in this room if you play it safe. And if you know how to stand to where the enemy shots will go right through you in between tiles, that's ideal. So I only have 2 rooms left, and I have a good amount of money to make, and this is the room that I make it. But this is the most dangerous room. I get lucky with the gamble a little bit. So the dark nuts aren't so dangerous. It is the Pole's voices that are dangerous in this room. The dark nuts take priority over the Pole's voices, so you can leave the room after killing a dark nut, and there'll be fewer Pole's voices. So that is a little trick you could do with that room. Other than that, you just have to be really good at the 90-degree angle trick, which I feel I'm very good at that trick. I still mess up, but I think even the best of us will mess up. But for the most part, this beginning part I do pretty much flawlessly. You just have to be aware of your scenario, your situation, and then I go back in, Pole's voices disappear, and there's more dark nuts, and it's actually to your benefit to go back in the room, because dark nuts actually give a lot more rupees than Pole's voices do. So instead of 5 to 10 rupees, they give 10 to 20 rupees. Actually, I think the rupees, normally it's 10 to 20 rupees, but I think in this game, the rupees are actually worth a little less. So you see me mess up actually when the room's less chaotic, and so it's real easy to panic and die when you get so far, and you just gotta keep your cool. And even here, now this room's super easy and when compared to the rest, but even there, you see I messed up right there. I can only get hit one more time, and I go like, oh good, the enemies are in the right position, let's go, go, go. And just like with the items only, I barely made it out of life. I barely made it out of life here. So, there's one last thing to do in Fortress 3, and that is to get the Triforce fragment. So, that's the last little bit that you'll get to see me do. So I gotta get some fresh air first, because after all that, you gotta get some fresh air. This is a nice little gimmick. Just gotta use a red candle to get on the ice, just like that. Nothing too spectacular. Just I think there's a little glitch. I don't know if these work the way they should or not. But, yeah, see, I don't think all the corners work the way they should, so some of them you can just walk instead of using your fire. But, regardless, I got the Triforce. That will end this video. Tune in next time when you see me go, let me see, to Fortress 4 Part 2. So, adios, amigos.